Hello, welcome to this morning's live. The live is dedicated to the upcoming Sun trine with Jupiter and Saturn. We have this beautiful aspect, which is actually a follow up to the October groundwater trine we had between Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. So there will be a callback to late October, and it can bring deep feelings, financial gains, and lovely opportunities. Definitely strong intuition and deeper self awareness, I would say. Before we get started, I would just like to highlight that I am doing a Black Friday sale this week between November 10th and 17th. So you can save 20% on all of my products, candles, oils, my planner with a coupon code EARLYBF20. So it's one word, single word. Hi, Julia. Hi, everybody who's watching. I am doing a double live again on YouTube and on Instagram. Decided to give it a try. So, this video is dedicated to the grand water trine between the Sun, Jupiter, and Saturn, and it is exact between November 14th and 20th. With the exact aspect, the most precise aspect is happening on November 17th, which is when the Sun is trining Jupiter and it is trining Saturn at the same time. We did have Mercury and Mars form a grand water trine with Jupiter and Saturn, like I mentioned, between October 22nd and November 2nd. So if you noticed any positive energy, heightened intuition, more self-awareness around that time, there's a chance that this will be coming back. Right now, this is the Sun getting involved with Jupiter and our ideals, our aspirations. It represents the perfect image we have in our mind of the things we want. It represents the goals and the vision on many levels. And so when the Sun gets in the mix with Jupiter and Saturn, Jupiter expands your vision, right? Jupiter has the power to bring new ideas, new opportunities, and kind of make you believe that there is more to life. And it's also making you optimistic. It gives you the feeling of being on top of the world and having warm relationships with other people. And then Saturn steps in and gives an element of stability and focus and longevity, right? Like Saturn will say that you shouldn't just go for everything, for every single opportunity. Be picky, be deliberate, be sort of slow and steady. So I am pretty excited about this. Hi, Irene. Hi, Universal Code. Hi, Jazz Mentas. And I'm glad you guys are excited about it. Aditi is saying she loves my candles. Thank you so much. I am glad you do. Yeah, everything is 20% off, all of my candles and oils with the code EARLYBF20. So definitely check it out. And let me see. Lives are fun to do, but sometimes I feel like there's so many things going on that it's easier to get taken off course. So we're going to try to stay focused. So the exact grand water trine, this sort of second iteration of the grand water trine, happens on November 17th. But it is active 3 days before, 3 days before, and then the same time after. So between November 14th today and November 19th. And we are gonna keep having it return as Venus will next trine Jupiter and Saturn on November 26th. And then Mercury will repeat this aspect in December. And there is actually Mercury repeats it in November and then in December. So we have like 3 more parts to it coming up. So if you're not feeling the and it will, it will manifest and show up in your life in the positive way. So definitely reflect on late October, the final 10 days of October. This is part 2. Then we have part 3 around November 22nd, part 4 with Venus on November 26th. And the final part of this is December 6th, 7th, when Mercury makes the final aspect. So it's like a long playing, long-lasting energy of growth and expansion in a steady way. And that's why it might be something that takes a minute to completely become visible because, like I said, it takes time to fully unravel. Okay, so if you're watching me on YouTube, I am going to share my screen so we can start looking at the 12 signs and start breaking them down. For those of you who want personal advice, as I always mention, book a reading on my website. There is, there are a lot of different options: relationship, natal chart, predictive readings. I can also help you elect the perfect moment for your important event, and help you figure out where you should move to in the world if you're considering moving. I'm glad Venus and Taurus 444, you're saying I've never been to a live. I watch all of your videos on YouTube though. I love your work. Thank you so much. And I am doing a live on YouTube and on Instagram. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at the 12 zodiac signs to see what this might signify for you. If you have any comments during this, if you have any thoughts on how this may have been showing up already, do let me know. Just a second here as I set this up. And thank you to everyone who's watching, and thank you guys for supporting my work and for always being friendly and kind and nice. I definitely appreciate that. Hi, Petite HD. Good morning to you as well. Okay. So if you're watching on YouTube, I am sharing the chart. So the exact aspect happens on November 17th, but it does begin to build between November 14th and November 19th. And so here we have Aries rising. And for Aries risings, this energy is activating your 8th house of debts, loans, personal involvements with other people. So sort of sharing and give and take dynamics. Your 4th house of home, family, and living situation, comfort and security, and your 12th house of spirituality and mental health. And usually things begin at the cardinal point, which is Jupiter in Cancer, in the house of comfort and security, home and family. And then they continue through the fixed point of Scorpio and changing through the mutable point of Pisces. And so here we have all of the personal kind of houses activated, right? In the very literal, like visible way this can manifest is you joining your energy and money with other people. I can see this as bringing real estate opportunities. I can see this as a chance to move and make an investment in your future, potentially. This also looks quite healing, I think, as we have the 4th house of childhood and upbringing and potentially childhood wounds, getting involved with the deep transformative energy of the sun in Scorpio. And then with the 12th house where you're kind of wrapping things up and you're liberating yourself. So in whatever shape and form, this could be very, like there could be positive developments that involve family, that involve real estate, that involve property, that involve any kinds of investments. And I think intuitively, emotionally, this could be a very powerful time for you guys. I just realized that I also want to take notes about the time codes, so it is easier for me when I put them in. Okay, just one second. Did anyone keep track on when Aries started? I guess I'm just gonna find it. Okay, so just give me a second. And thank you for answering. I see Venus and Taurus is saying that I do use whole sign indeed, and you enjoy Placidus, but you still like my viewpoints. Yeah, I do work in whole sign. I started with Placidus, but whole sign in my opinion, tends to be more objectively accurate, versus Placidus can be a little bit more subjective and can reflect more accurately how you see yourself, versus whole sign will be more about like, how does the world see you? Hi, Dahlia. Okay, so Jasmenta says, I think Aries is a 6-minute mark, a little after. It might be, 6 minutes? Okay, that's good. Thank you. Because I started a little later, so that's good to know. Okay. Thank you, Jasmentis, for paying attention. These are so fun to do because I get to interact with you guys, but it's definitely requires a lot more skills in terms of keeping track of everything that's going on. Okay. Moving on to Taurus rising. So for Taurus risings, we have Jupiter in Cancer in the 3rd house. We have Venus in the 7th house of relationships. Sorry, the Sun in the 7th house of relationships. And we have Saturn in the 11th house of community and social media, friendships, and networks. So this is a very positive for Taurus risings. It's a very positive social dynamic, right? You have Jupiter in the 3rd house. There's maybe a desire to start some kind of social media channel or get involved with a community or start a business and pursue some types of goals that expand your reach on many levels and like kind of help you guide and inspire other people. And then you get the supportive energy from your partnerships and from your relationship sector, as well as opportunities to be a leader in the community with Saturn in the 11th and perhaps reach out to people in power. So I really like this for any kinds of like business undertakings, networking, coming up with like building alliances, building partnerships, doing work that is inspiring to other people and supportive to other people. For example, like getting involved with your local homeless shelter and volunteering, or starting a business and reaching out to your local, let's say you have like let's say you have a community center and you want to start like filming yoga videos, and you reach out to them and you like offer them some kind of partnership. So this could be a really positive for that. Just Menta says, fellow Libra rising, I understand the mental load. Yeah, side note, but Mars has been in the 3rd house for Libra risings, and it is both exciting because I think it stimulates and speeds up the mind, but very busy, very sort of so many things going on. We have Virgo risings. What are your rising signs, you guys, if you're watching? Do tell me. And I will continue trying to keep track of these timestamps. So thank you for your patience with me. So we did Taurus. Again, as a reminder, I am doing a Black Friday sale, 20% off all of my products, my planner, my candles. Highly recommend Venus products for love, Mercury for Mercury retrograde, Moon for emotional stability. Use the code single word, lowercase, early BF20. It's a really good time to save and take advantage of that. And all of it is at Anastasia.astrology.com. So we have a Sag rising, Scorpio rising, Taurus rising in tropical, which is what I'm using. I am a tropical astrologer. Gemini. Okay, Geminis are coming up. Cancer, Pisces. Pisces are the most patient of them all. I love Pisces risings. You guys have such like a kind of soft and mystical vibe to you always. Okay, so moving on to Gemini rising. If you are a Gemini rising, Jupiter is in your 2nd house of money and values. The Sun is in your 6th house of work, health, and service to others. And Saturn is in your 10th house of career, status, and public life, reputation as well. So the Sun in the 6th represents your professional ideals, right? The Sun in the 6th may suggest that you're very work-oriented right now, and not just work-oriented, but like you want to improve the world through your actions. And then Jupiter in the 2nd could be a source of opportunity and optimism and maybe financial gains. Again, I think like Jupiter in the second suggests that you're not just seeking to do work right now, you're seeking to find like a purpose, a mission of some type. And also work that builds confidence and increases your sense of self. So this is a very good professional energy for taking action of any kind, for asking for a raise, looking for promotion, starting new kind of work, maybe even reaching out to people you know and asking for responsibility and for some kind of like support, especially as Mercury is retrograding from your seventh into the sixth houses. Saturn is going to move out of your 10th house of career in the next few months. So, this is also quite rewarding, I think, in terms of professional success and accomplishment. And if you are a Gemini rising, have you noticed any blessings financially or in terms of sense of like self worth and confidence when it comes to Jupiter being in your second house? Please share. Especially if you're watching and you're a Gemini rising. Hi, Bhavana. But yeah, really positive for like professional undertakings, for expressing your authority, your knowledge, your leadership skills as well. And I think with the blessing of Jupiter in the second, it can provide opportunities to make good investments in yourself and perhaps in your future. Bhavana, are you on both on YouTube and on Instagram? You're saying it seems like a sunny day in New York City. Not well, kind of. I feel like there are a lot of clouds, but it's because there's a lot of light coming through that window. I think it looks like it's blown out. Bhavana, you're saying you came to YouTube. Yeah, I am trying to do a double live. I don't know how it's gonna work out in the future because as of right now, it's a little bit too many things to keep track of, like my phone with Instagram and the computer with YouTube. Plus, I can do a lot more on YouTube, I think. Just real quick thing. Let me just give me 1 second. Bear with me. Thank you for being patient. Hi, Nanette. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Okay. So, how is your Mercury retrograde going on, everyone who's watching? Are you noticing a lot of drama? Are you noticing any chaos, or is it going pretty well? We have done Aries, Taurus, and Gemini rising. Going to move on in a second. I am just thinking of sharing something with you guys. Just a sec. Okay, I'm just gonna pin the comment reminding you that my Black Friday sale is active until Monday. So take advantage, save 20% on the products. And we're gonna keep going. Thank you, Nanette, for calling me lovely Anastasia. I like that. PJ Dowry says delays with processing paperwork and poor communication, so frustrating. Nanette is a Capricorn rising. Okay, I am about to do Cancer rising, so there's still a lot to go before Capricorn rising, so stay patient. Bhavana says Mercury retrograde is giving me a lot of misunderstandings. It's just, I feel like it's also because Mercury is in the sign of its detriment in Sagittarius, so there might be a lot more focus on like the big picture type of communication, but missing a lot of little details and then feeling confused. Don't jinx it says definitely a lot of noise around me. Black streak, so many issues with clarity and communication. Okay. Yeah, keep breathing, and if you want a magical candle, then definitely get a Mercury Kazemi or Mercury in Virgo too. Mine is lit up. It's right there because I can't do Mercury retrograde without some kind of magical support. Okay, let's keep moving because these always take a while. So, okay, so for Cancer rising, if you're a Cancer rising, the sun is currently in the 5th house of romance, pleasure, parenthood, and children, with Jupiter in the 1st house of identity and Saturn in the 9th house of education, travel, publishing, and legal matters. And so here we have the houses of identity, play, and growth activated. And with the sun in the 5th, the focus is quite strongly on finding more joy in life and figuring out what your passions are. And Jupiter is in the 1st, which I think is calling you to go within and ask yourself, what is it that maybe has always fired you up and inspired you and got you going? And then Saturn in the 9th is encouraging commitment and maybe brings in elements of studying, traveling, exploring, speaking foreign languages, connecting with foreign people. So I think for you guys, for Cancer risings, the focus is on connecting with your heart. And if you're feeling confused, ask yourself, what is it that puts a smile on your face? What is it that brings you in this state of childlike wonder? And then don't be afraid to take risks, because Jupiter is in your 1st house and he's got you. Jupiter has your back right now. So do not, sabotage yourself and like keep believing in yourself. So this is Cancer rising. Highly recommend my Moon in Cancer candle for you guys because it falls in your 1st house of identity. Okay. And if you have any, if you resonate with this and you want to share anything, that is always great as well. Otherwise, we'll move on to Leo rising. For Leo rising, we have the sun in the 4th house of home, family, comfort, and security. Jupiter in the 12th house of spirituality, healing, mental health, blind spots. Jupiter has been providing a lot of guidance and support for you guys. It has been, I think, helping you see light in the more challenging times. And then we have Saturn in the 8th, which is all about involvement with other people and figuring out what kind of involvement you want to feed versus what kind of relationships maybe you need to release. So similarly to Aries risings, we have houses of intimacy. We have really emotional houses activated here and private houses, right? So for Leo risings, Aries risings, Sag risings, this can be a lot more introspective and internal opportunities and developments here. I think with the sun in the 4th, your goals are connected to moving, growing your family, updating your living situation, healing your childhood wounds, improving your relationships with family. And so Jupiter offers you wisdom that can be found in spending some time alone and exploring, sort of exploring yoga and astrology and meditation. And then Saturn in the 8th is helpful for, I think Saturn in the 8th will also give you clarity on what is worth healing, what is worth working on, as well as the kind of relationships that deserve your time versus what you need to release. So powerful opportunities involving investing and involving building stability through shedding things and letting them go. And if you are a Leo rising, do let me know. Okay. We have people switching to YouTube because you want to pull the chart on your phone. That makes sense. Yeah, I am live both on YouTube and Instagram. So if you're watching me on Instagram and you want to jump over to YouTube, because I am sharing the charts here, it might be easier to see. Hi, Anna Funkhouse. Nanette says, my friend is going through that. Is she a Leo rising? What's happening in her life? I'd be so curious to hear your feedback on these because I am seeing the energies and I'm expressing them. I'm translating them, but it's really helpful to know how this shows up. And this is an ongoing thing, right? This first started happening in late October. This is the second hit Then we have another one in November. Then we have another one in early December as planets keep going and keep aspecting Jupiter and Saturn. And in December, we're actually going to start having planets squaring Jupiter and Saturn. So it's going to be potentially frustrating in December because right now it's a bit more helpful. Don Jinkisit says, for me, this really showed up as releasing relationship in my life and stuff like that. And definitely a lot of healing. Yeah, because all of this is these private houses and private areas of your life. So it's not always going to be visible change. A lot of times it will be a lot more private. Nanette says the Leo rising friend is going through a breakup and he's wondering if he has the desire to get married, which is why the breakup happened. Okay. So yeah, it's an interesting example because there seems to be a lot of introspection in that kind of question, right? And maybe even like looking at his childhood, potentially, I'm guessing, but like looking at the childhood, looking at the parents and their marriage, right? And like asking how maybe the childhood impacted this present life for him. Okay. So any Virgo risings with us? Nanette says he's looking at his childhood and analyzing himself. Okay. So next we have Virgo rising. For Virgo rising, the sun is in the third house of communication, siblings, neighbors, community, skills, hobbies, and business, potentially suggesting that there is a lot of focus on building your knowledge, studying, expressing your gifts and talents through writing, through communication, through blogging, whatever it might be. The sun really wants to express the passion, right? It's Scorpio. The sun wants to be authentic and truthful. And then there's Jupiter in the 11th house of community, which will give you the connections you need and opportunities to deliver your message to a larger audience. For Virgo risings, Jupiter is in your 11th house for a year, starting June 9th this year and all the way until June 30th next year. And then Saturn in the 7th, I think, gives you stability and ability to be like diligent and persistent and good at drawing contracts and negotiating agreements. So this is another example of like a really powerful social energy here where whatever you want to take further with your sun in the third would have like, if it's business, if it's your social relationships, if it's some kind of education or growth in your community, in your friendships, in your relationships, this is a powerful place for Virgo risings right now. And your connections are highlighted. So if you need help, if you need support, if you need any kind of resource I think you need, you can reach out to your friend and ask them for help, and somebody will lend their helping hand. It's actually quite powerful right now for your social relationships and potentially romantic relationships too, because Saturn is in the house of marriage and business, right? So maybe you're planning a wedding and Saturn in the 7th is about that. Okay, Nanette was saying exactly, you're so right with the Leo rising friend. I'm glad. Yeah, so to sum up for Virgo risings, highly recommend reaching out to people, building alliances, working on your relationships, and taking care of your like skills and gifts and asking people for help to offer you opportunities that you're looking for potentially. And for Virgo rising, the best candle is Mercury in Virgo. So if you are struggling with this retrograde, check it out. Everything is 20% off in terms of all of my products. So hopefully you can pick something up that works well for you. Moving on to Libra risings, my beautiful, beautiful Libra risings. Libra risings have professional houses activated, houses of success and achievement, right? With the sun in the second house, your attention is on your money. your focus is on your priorities. You're very much interested in like growing your wealth and boosting your confidence and maybe even connecting with what is of value to you. Saturn can encourage professional, like hard work, commitment to work that you love. And then Jupiter in the 10th, even though it is retrograde, it is still about professional expansion. I can see this, I can actually see a couple of ways this can manifest. For some of you, maybe it's about really going forward and about and interested in, and you have both the excitement and growth and optimism and opportunities of Jupiter, as well as the diligence and stability and hard work of Saturn. But I can also potentially see this as even almost like a need to set boundaries in your professional life and maybe take it slow, maybe take a beat. Maybe that's something maybe I'm projecting and talking from personal, because I have been feeling like a need to slow down, because having Jupiter go retrograde in the 10th house can encourage a sense of introspection. It can be like, okay, I've been growing things and I've been expressing myself, but maybe I need a moment to just survey what I've accomplished. And especially with Saturn in the sixth, Saturn has been in your sixth house since March 2023. It could suggest that there may be a need for some boundaries and maybe a need to slow down and set some of your work aside and focus a little bit on nurturing yourself and healing yourself, or building yourself without necessarily working a ton, at least for the time being, because November, December have pretty slow energy. So for Libras, this is about professional growth, but it is also about slowing down and reprioritizing, or figuring out what that professional growth is going to look like going into 2026, I think. And if you are a Libra rising, please share how this resonates. The perfect choice of a candle for you, you can save 20% on all of my products, is, of course, Venus in Libra, 2, 3, or 4. Check it out. And do let me know how this connects with you, because that's always fun to hear. Next, we have Scorpio rising. For Scorpio rising, of course, the sun is in the first house of identity. And Mercury is slowly but surely moving backwards into Scorpio to become part of the upcoming new moon in Scorpio only in two days from now, right? Like if we were to move this a couple of days, there's the new moon coming through on November 19th, 20th, and there's a Mercury retrograde cazimi. So there's a lot going on for Scorpios in terms of their sense of identity and their sense of self, and maybe some deep questions around that, like questions of like, who am I and what do I want to do? And Jupiter will come in and offer you guys opportunities to study, opportunities to sort of dig deeply within yourself and ask yourself, what is your purpose? What is your calling? What is the adventure? Like if you could choose your next adventure, where would you go? What would you aspire for? And then Saturn in the fifth might bring questions of love. So the next adventure might involve love. It might involve creative self-expression. It might involve children, both parenthood in the traditional sense of the word, or parenthood in a sense of like you're starting a business, you're opening a second location to your spa studio. There might be something that will require work. So self-discovery leads you to grow and learn and study or travel, or maybe even explore your foreign connections and open yourself up to things, maybe slowly. I think trust is required with all of these retrogrades that are happening at this point. And commitment. Trust and commitment are both required for Scorpio risings. And keep asking those questions. Trust that the answers will come. And be ready for December to be frustrating. Sorry, I just filmed yesterday. I filmed like as per usual, a 2-hour long horoscope video for December. it drained all of my energy just talking about the frustrating energies that are coming up in December. Julia says you're 100% right, Libra rising. Which one do you think is it for you, Julia? Is it about like taking it slow, or is it about kind of committing to things and going at it with full dedication? Yeah, and Scorpio risings as well. Do share any feedback that you have. My candle choice for Scorpio risings is Mars in Scorpio or Mars Cazimi, because they both capture Mars in your sign. Really good for setting goals, achieving your goals, and any kind of fitness work. And ninja is likely here. Okay. Moving on to Sagittarius. For Sagittarius risings, the sun is in the 12th house, Jupiter is in the 8th, Saturn is in the 4th. So similar to Aries, similar to Leo risings, you have your private sectors active. This is an introspective transit. This can be a very healing transit. The sun in your 12th house is shining light on your self-defeating tendencies. It's shining light on bad habits you have, anything where, like you have Scorpio in your 12th house. There is intensity to you and depth and passion, but you might not always express it. You might sort of be quiet about certain fears you have. So maybe the sun in the 12th is highlighting the need to be more honest with yourself, starting with yourself. The other possibility here is that it's telling you what interests you have that are 12th house like. This could be spiritual knowledge, spiritual learning. Just real quick, a reminder that I'm also teaching astrology. My next course begins in March 2026. So if you're a Sag rising and you're craving spiritual learning, or if you're any other sign that wants to learn astrology, I am teaching, right? It begins in March 2026, and it will be a predictive course, which is all about forecasting the future with transits, solar returns, and annual perfections. Back to Sagittarius, right? So, okay, so the sun in the 12th is either about release of the bad habits, negative tendencies, being more honest with yourself, or being more honest with yourself about passions and desires that you're not acknowledging. So either shedding something or connecting with your truth and bringing more of your passions into your life. And then Jupiter in the 8th is all about building relationships with others, building resources with others, getting involved with others in a more intimate way. It can also be about, again, sort of releasing any pain and fears that are blocking you from being truly intimate and close with others. And then Saturn in the 4th can help maybe set boundaries with family, maybe transform your living situation, maybe also kind of be very serious about your past and anything that doesn't serve you. So for some, I can see this as an emergence of something, like a different dynamic in a relationship, more intimacy, more closeness, more authenticity, or maybe like a new passion that you're exploring in the privacy of your home or in the privacy of your relationship. Maybe you're speaking up about what you want in the bedroom, right? And then for others, it can very much be like, okay, I've had my parents get divorced, and now I don't trust anyone to truly show up for me. So I never express like whatever my mom expressed, and sort of like can be deeply, deeply introspective and deeply healing in that regard, especially with Saturn still retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, Mercury retrograding in the first house. So pay attention to what's coming up for you, Sagittarius risings, and pick up my Jupiter Kazemi candle. It's perfect. If you are a Capricorn rising, for you, the sun is in the 11th house of community, friendships, networks, hopes, and dreams, encouraging you to be a leader, to shine, to express yourself in a social context. Start a podcast, start a social media channel, um, follow your passions, right? Some kind of like new dreams maybe are about to appear here as the new moon is coming through in the next 3 days. And then Jupiter is in the seventh house of relationships and partnerships. So it's quite likely that you're not exploring new dreams alone. You're actually working in tandem with someone else. Reaching out, honestly, like building relationships, reaching out to people you know, all of that is powerful right now, especially if you're working on like a writing project, an education project, business, starting an online shop, connecting with your community somehow. There is basically, I think, the resources you need may be provided by your significant other, by your friends, or by your siblings or neighbors. So Capricorn risings are very much in this place right now of, I think, exploring dreams and exploring their relationships with other people. And maybe, as you know, maybe there is a completion of some kind of heavy writing project or a completion of some kind of like Saturn has been in your third house since March 2023. It's going to start leaving your third house. So you're maybe breaking away from something, and it can be a little bit heavy, especially if like your workload felt heavy or your schedule felt overwhelming. Um, Anything that's been maybe heavy on your mind, there are opportunities to just say whatever, right? Like close the door on it and go in the direction of new partnerships, new relationships. And do share if you're a Capricorn rising. Does this resonate? How does this show up for you? What kind of new relationships and partnerships you're exploring? I'd be very curious to know. Moving on to Aquarius rising. If you are an Aquarius rising, the sun is in your house of career, right? So there is, similarly to other air signs, Gemini or Libra, this is all about professional growth and increase in self-worth and maybe opportunities to show up for yourself professionally. So we have the sun in the 10th, and your attention is on your professional opportunities, right? Your status, you're maybe thinking of making some changes here, starting a new job, asking for a promotion, kind of stepping into a different role somehow. And then we have Jupiter in the sixth house, which encourages you. I think Jupiter in the sixth is a sign that you're not afraid to put in the work. You're very much like, okay, I know it's going to take some time, but it's for my growth, it's for my future, it's worth it. In the sixth house, there might also be opportunities to like expand your work that involve serving other people, that maybe involve leading other people, that involve some kind of health law related type of work, nutrition, diet, and maybe it's a new passion, maybe it's an old passion that you're committing to. And Saturn in the second is a sign of being very deliberate with your finances and pretty good at investing things right now, I think. Saturn in the second may also suggest that financially, this opportunity will not immediately be lucrative, but it can be lucrative. It can bring more money your way a little bit later on. So you have to be patient with it. And it's another one of those, for all of us with Mercury retrograde right now, with Mercury retrograde being involved with the new moon, it's a sign that like you got to move slowly. Why not come immediately? Because Jupiter is retrograde, Saturn is retrograde, Mercury is retrograde. It's a very like slow period right now. Okay, we have Nanette, who's a Capricorn rising, right? Saying you're definitely right. It does resonate with a new project I'm thinking about. I want to reach out to different people to test my product, new project idea. That's awesome. And then you're saying, what candle do you recommend for Capricorn rising for career and love manifestation? Let's see. Aquarius risings. Also, let me know if you have anything, like if you have anything to share about what I said. And just for a second to answer Nanette's question, she's saying, what candle do you recommend for Capricorn rising, career and love manifestation? Nanette, do you know if your midheaven is in Libra or Scorpio? Because if it's in Libra, it would be Venus in Libra. If it's in Scorpio, I would probably recommend Mars Cazimi, because that's the Sun Mars conjunction, empowered Mars, really good for new beginnings and really good for sort of strategic thinking. And as a reminder, on YouTube, you can see in the pinned comment that my Black Friday sale is going until November 17th. You can save 20% on all of my products, candles, oils, my planner, right? With a coupon code EARLYBF20. Mars Kazemi. Oh, Mars Kazemi is a good one. But for love, it's probably going to be better. Like Venus will be better. I think Mars Kazemi is good for career and for sort of social relationships. But for romantic, it would be either Venus in Libra, Venus in Taurus, or maybe Moon in Cancer, or any of the Jupiter candles can also be good because your seventh house is Cancer. So that's where Jupiter is right now, lunar Jupiter. So yeah, I'd say Mars Kazemi for career, lunar Jupiter for relationships. And then after that, you can also look at Venus, but those two are pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, Venus or the moon, because your seventh house of. Okay, we have, and go to something called Open Decks, which is like an open DJs. Yesterday, the music stopped so many times. At least 3 different DJs had tech issues. That was really in my face. Mercury retrograde. Yeah, there's just honestly like bank pages not opening and like Google Drive telling me I'm offline even though I'm online. It's just never stopping. Thank you, Nanette, for saying I'm amazing. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Okay, so we have the one, the only, the special, unique Pisces rising. If you are a Pisces rising, I am gonna write down the timing for you. For Pisces risings, we have the Sun in the 9th, we have Jupiter in the 5th, and Saturn in the 1st. So these are the houses of self. These are the houses of growth, pleasure, joy. Jupiter in the 5th may have introduced you to new passions, new interests, new relationships in your life, or new hobbies. It's the domain of your creative energy, right? And Jupiter is in the cardinal sign, so it's about beginning. It's about starting something. So since June 9th, have you welcomed new passions, new interests, new hobbies? What have you been spending your time with? What have you been reading about? What have you been excited about? And then the Sun in the 9th, while it connects with Jupiter, might encourage you to commit to it and study it, right? Or it will encourage you to commit to it and go on a trip. The Sun in the 9th could be like, well, I've been really into yoga. I'm going to go to India and I will take a yoga course, right? An example that's close to home because that was me last year. But some kind of, there's some type of development of skills that I think is required. Maybe taking your ideas and writing about them. Maybe taking a relationship, romantic relationship, and making it official somehow, or making a partnership official somehow. And then Saturn in the 1st is, of course, suggesting that you are the one, you need to prioritize yourself. That's what Saturn has been teaching you ever since it first 2023. Saturn here is like, nobody is going to take care of you if you don't take care of you. So I think Saturn is teaching you to prioritize yourself and to connect with your desires. And things might feel a little cloudy and a little bit confusing because Mercury is retrograding from your 10th house of career into your 9th house of education and travel and growth. So take a beat, be introspective, slow down, ask yourself what brings you joy, and then try to see how you can implement that a little bit by bit in your life. It's not necessarily going to be easy, right? We all have to have jobs, we have bills we have to pay, but there's really like opportunity to do a little bit of fun every day. Nanette says, I love that you work so hard with aligning the times of astrology and making intentional candles. Yeah, I for sure. And like, I don't make a lot of candles, right? Like this year, I only made maybe what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, maybe 7 batches throughout the entire year. So sometimes people wonder, they're like, oh, what makes these candles like different from other kinds of candles? And that's it. They're all connected to the right moments. They all involve an element of ritual. They all have like intentions behind them. And they're limited for that reason, because they have like special purpose. And you can't, not every day has like special meaning in astrology. Not at all. We have some challenging ones that we want to avoid. So sorry, Pisces risings, I got distracted, but I think that was pretty much what I see in this regard. I think it's about you taking responsibility for you, connecting with your play and childlike and creative nature, and then maybe using your knowledge, or using your quest and desire to learn, to actually study and travel and expand your mind through spiritual or creative inquiry of some kind. And if you're a Pisces rising, what have you been exploring throughout this Jupiter in Cancer transit? Have you noticed there being any new passions coming into your life? What is it that you think you'd be growing and learning and connecting to? So thank you everyone who's been watching. Thank you, Nanette, for being the active Instagram audience member. I appreciate that. Yeah, take advantage of my sale. It's only active until the 17th. I'm doing an early Black Friday sale to get ahead of the drama of the other Black Friday sales. So check it out. Anna Funk House saying, when do you go live? So it's been consistently Mondays at 5. This is more experimentation. So the only regular one as of right now is 5 in the evening Eastern time on Mondays, and that's when I do live chart readings for people. But I'm trying to do more of these, because also YouTube, just to take you behind the scenes for a second, but like filming YouTube videos, converting YouTube videos, posting them, doing all the prep takes a really long time. And so going live takes away some of it, because YouTube basically processes it for me, and I just need to put some timestamps in. Thank you everyone for watching. Nanette says, yeah, love you. I love you guys. Bhavana says, I like this time of you being live. Yeah, maybe I'll do this more. I'm kind of considering doing it again next week around this time, just because, again, like it's a bit more fun, because I get to chat with you. Next time I might just stick to YouTube. So Nanette, if you want to like set your notifications on my YouTube channel too, so you can join when I'm live on YouTube. But no worries if not. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. It's crazy though. It ends up taking almost like an hour, but we're having fun. So time flies when you're having fun. Have a great Friday. Happy Venus Day. It's Venus Day. Wear something green, even if nobody can see you that you're wearing something green. Do something nice for yourself today. Buy yourself flowers, buy yourself chocolates, treat yourself with kindness, do Venusian things. Here's my green water bottle. Have a good day. See you soon.